Hello.
Hello.
So I figured, or Kevin figured, that we should just probably after finishing the recording, we just separate the audio and the video, and then we throw it into the Adobe speech enhancement. And
Yeah.
everyone has perfect podcasting voice or gear. So that's
Sweet.
Also, I've been thinking about the name, same but different. I kind of like that name for the podcast.
Okay.
Considering we had the kind of theme where we all have the same job, but in very, very different ways.
Right.
So let's chew on that.
Okay.
I also got a cold, so hopefully I'm able to turn away before coughing and sneezing into your ears.
I believe the AI will fix that.
But that's gonna look stupid on video, though, if I'm sneezing.
You'll just be like,
voice.
There'll be nothing. You're just like, like, is he? Does Alex have Tourette's? Like, what's going on over there?
Absolutely.
Do it. Is there an outline? Is there show notes? What's going on? How do we do this? Intro?
Tim?
Oh, I was gonna say I'll probably tack on. Well, for the audio portion, I'll probably tack on like an intro and outro. But I said this is supposed to be kind of a open forum discussion, right, Alex? So
Basically, just like every call we have,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
where we say,
yeah, make it as natural as possible,
we
right?
should have recorded this.
Oh, great.
This was such a great talk. We should have recorded it. But now we do.
Yeah, all right.
So,
sounds good. Yeah, gosh, not watching what I say. Yee. It's gonna be rough. I'm gonna try it. We'll see. What are they gonna do? Cancel me? That would actually be truly awful.
to get canceled.
Yeah.
Like if I turned out to be some sort of like horrible killer thing, and then like everybody's got my music in their stuff, and they'd be like,
Oh my
no.
god.
Impossible to unravel. You know?
Impossible.
That's
Yeah.
going to be a bigger problem than any movie producer, any director, everyone would like this. This would affect so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the fact that you're kind of displaying the apartment, the open
Yeah.
area, for two reasons. Number one,
Okay.
the lights and the foliage are glorious, right?
Okay.
For two, I was a part of setting that up, so I'm so super excited to see it in the video.
It is, and also I don't have to sit down because I get real cranky when I sit down for interviews.
Right.
I have a lower raised desk. I have used it once. I should probably. I mean,
But it is at the exact correct height.
You know what? Kevin
Yeah.
has the same thing over there. Kevin has the same thing over there. And once we got that set up in the new place, he was like, "Help!
Move it once.
This thing won't move. It won't raise or lower." I'm like, "I think we're missing a cord."
yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with these desks. That's cables. Is like, I'm not sure if I raise this desk now, will I like stretch a USB cable and break it? I might.
It is possible.
So yeah, just a small introduction from each of the three faces.
Yeah.
Kevin, you can start.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Kevin MacLeod. I'm a composer. I write mostly royalty-free music stuff for the internets, and I'm in Florida.
Nice.
The weather's beautiful,
meeting you.
as always. Nobody wants to hear that the weather here is awesome. I've learned this.
Yeah, you're
It's like,
absolutely
oh, it's
right.
snowing up there? Yeah, it's actually beautiful. 22 degrees and sunny.
But I think
Like,
it's,
oh,
I
no.
think it's important that you say it so that we have a thing going for when I talk about my weather.
Fair enough. Yeah, you should not live there.
No, I shouldn't. I'll go then.
Okay.
Alexander Nakarada. I mostly do royalty-free music as a composer for the internet, just like Kevin and Tim and everyone here, which is why we're here, I guess. I live in Norway. My native language is not English, so bear with me. And yeah, the weather is shit.
How many degrees Celsius are we today?
Today we're only at like -5, 6.
Oh,
So I mean, t-shirt weather basically.
it sounds awful.
I don't know. I haven't been outside.
That equates to like 20 or something in Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
right?
it is below freezing.
Okay.
This is how you know. Because that's what all we care about.
All I know is
Is it going to rain?
the only time those two numbers coincide with each other is -40, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only time you could say it's -40 Celsius.
Yeah.
It's also -40 Fahrenheit too.
But
And
if I say minus, then you automatically knows it's below freezing.
Right.
Yeah. Your scale is far superior to
Except when it comes to body temperature, that's what I figured out, because you have internal body temperature of 100, right? That's normal.
90. No, 98.6.
It was supposed to be 100 back when Fahrenheit developed the system.
Hmm.
And then they codified it and something was wrong. So yeah, 98.6 is...
Yeah.
It's not even round.
I take back everything. It's shit in everyone.
What's body temperature in
37.5.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, nobody has it, I guess.
Nobody's got one.
Well, that's the weird thing about Fahrenheit, though. Like, the scale can be anywhere from like 97 to 100, and that could, like, your base could be in there somewhere. Because my base is like 97.6, something like that, 97.4. That's like my normal low temperature. So if I'm 99, like, I'm under the weather, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like, which is only 0.4 above standard.
Yeah,
But I know, like, physically, I can feel it. I'm like,
something is off.
my body's pushing something because my normal temperature, I have a standard temperature below the normal, you know.
When do you like officially have a fever?
They say that a degree in either direction is normal. So anything
Like
over
100
99.6, yeah, 100, yeah, exactly, 100.
That's a good rule of thumb. If it's over 100, it's like, okay.
So
Yeah, you're
that's
fighting
how
something.
Fahrenheit makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have 100,
That-
you're
yes.
sick. Okay.
100 is sick.
Well, I'll chime in. I'm Tim Kulig. I'm also a composer. I also do it royalty free. I hail also from Florida, and I'm not gonna give you a hard time about the wonderful temperature down here compared to Norway, because we all know you're much closer to the Arctic Circle than we are, and yeah, we're here to talk.
Do anything about that?
No, no, there's not a lot. There's not a lot you can, you know.
I could have probably moved to the U.S., but it seems so shitty.
Well, certain places are. Certain places are.
Yeah.
Highly variable, yeah.
Yeah.
For 2 years in a row, I guess Tampa's like the #1 place to be. So, according to something,
It seems
some
like it.
Yeah. I mean, if you set your local news to wherever, like Kansas City, #1 place to be, says the Kansas City Star, Tribune,
Really?
Journal. Yeah. Green Bay is like, oh, yeah, we made the list of best something.
I just read an article this morning that was saying like the #1 place to retire, and it was someplace in Ohio. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
What?
Well, first of all, it's a state that has a state income tax, which screw that. Secondly, it's Ohio.
It is Ohio.
No. There's no palm trees. There's no sun. There's no open body of water from the ocean. I mean, these are all my must-haves. What's your latest?
Sent me a movie yesterday, and I watched through it to see if I wanted to score it. I don't think that's gonna happen, but Jim, if you're interested, it's kind of a horror suspense thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there an open link to like a Venmo or not Venmo,
Yeah, I can
like
send the download.
YouTube or whatever?
Yeah,
It sounded.
on Google File Exchange or whatever.
I found myself falling to sleep last night from the narrative that you left on Discord, thinking it was
Oh.
either either a David Cronenberg film or a David Lynch film. Like the way that you were describing it, I'm like, what is happening here? You know?
Yeah, it is. It is hard to figure out. But yeah, I just don't like doing horror stuff. I don't like doing suspense stuff. It makes me feel icky after too long. So, and I know like you seem fine with it.
I might have enough of a catalog to incorporate into some of those scenes. I don't know. I'll take a look at it.
Just drop them in.
Didn't you post something about you being a horror expert, something on Facebook earlier today?
No, I didn't. I don't think I said anything about being an expert in that, but
you had like an expert title on.
You must be. Oh, you're looking at horror game expert or something on In Search for Scary. It's like it's a group my buddy Bob Kobus runs on Facebook, and they have like he's been doing this thing for like a couple years now, and him and another friend of mine, Darren DeFranzo, they started this group on there of just like stuff from like old scary movies or like scary pictures or like AI scary stuff, and they have like 32 or 35,000 like like members on the page. I'm like, dude, how did you get all these numbers? He's like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm consistent about posting, and boom. Yeah. And I'm like, well, he's like the poster child of that. Nice. Be consistent, you know?
Yeah.
No, but he has me as a group expert in there because I would post a bunch of stuff or contribute a lot, and it gave some options, and I was like, oh, I like horror video games. I'll put that in there, and I'm like, my expert's kind of hyperbole. I'm probably a mid-level understanding of certain things, but nonetheless, no, I did that. I posted last night because I published another album that's coming out Christmas Day, and now I've officially hit 502 tunes. So
congratulations!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So very psyched about that. Now I'm gonna take a break.
Well,
at least through the holidays.
I just figured out that Bandcamp, we can like upload albums to Bandcamp, and their limit is 549. So
songs, because you're right there. You're right. Aren't you like 550? 550?
I don't use it anymore. I can't. It's full. I'm not gonna make a complete discography volume 2. That's just stupid.
That's insane. They have a finite number on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it takes about I would say 20 minutes to actually download the thing, or to get the download button, because the page is not handling these big collections.
You broke SoundCloud. It was designed to be used differently, apparently.
Bandcamp, yeah.
Or Bandcamp. Yeah. Most people don't write this much music.
No,
that's I've emailed them like, do you have any other solution for me to use? But no, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't.
I joked around with Kevin a few weeks ago about this. It may have been longer, but I was bringing up. Are you familiar with the '90s band Winger?
No,
Alex. Interestingly enough, big hair band, like '80s style rock hair band type of thing. They had a couple breakout hits or whatever, and interestingly enough, the lead singer is now an orchestral composer. Like he's gone away from the whole rock genre, and he does that whole thing. I saw some like documentary. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But what the breakout comment and conversation I had with Kevin about him was, they had like 4 albums between like the late 80s and early 90s, right? Then they had a best of. It's like it was like 4 releases and then best of, and it's like, and then like all like live albums. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, when I first started publishing stuff, I think I released 4 albums in like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's different path, I guess, and you're like, you're refining things.
Yeah.
Well,
being in a band though, like 4 or 5 people working together to make something, of course it takes longer.
For sure. It's a different audience, right? Yeah. And different creative venue.
Yeah.
Well, a good example, like, there's like Genesis, right? Like when Phil Collins went on a solo album, he did No Jacket Required. I mean, that was a huge album.
Yeah.
You know? Clearly he could carry, hold his own on his own,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, then you start to figure out who was actually carrying the band as well.
Right.
Oh, man. I was listening to an interview with Roger Waters back, I guess, gotta be in the 90s or whatever. And the interviewer, he was, I think he was a bass player for Pink Floyd. And then he put out a solo album called Radio Chaos. He's like, the interviewer's like, do you think like the success of your Radio Chaos is mostly due to Pink Floyd fans? And he's going, success? What success? It didn't sell.
Really?
Oh, Roger Waters.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people peg that phrase to monetary gain, but that's not necessarily the be-all end-all definition of success, right? I think successfully getting your music in the ear holes and the minds of as many people as possible is pretty successful, Yeah.
That's literally everybody's job, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like entertain as many people as possible while being as least annoying as possible. So Kanye is, it's pretty high on both scales.
Like, would you say that if Monkey Spinning Monkeys did not make any money, would you call it a successful song? I mean, if it was
one of
used,
the most successful songs of all time.
if it was used all the same places but made no money, it would definitely be a success.
Yeah, anytime I bring it up on my phone to be like, oh yeah, Kevin MacLeod, right? And you're like, I think I've heard that name. I'm like, have you heard this? And they're like, yeah, like at least 1,000 times. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, of course you have. Yeah, of course you have.
It's like every time I have to explain Kevin to a friend or someone, it's like, oh, okay, hold on. Have you heard this song? Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's literally how I explain myself to people in real life too.
Yeah. It should be like,
oh, what kind of stuff do you do? Just hanging out at the bar. I'm like, okay. Here we go.
We did that at that Irish pub 2 weeks ago. There was some guy we were talking to, and I'm like, hold on. Here, listen to this. Do you hear that? He's like, oh yeah, I know that song. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. That
Yeah. You know that song.
About 20 others. If you know that, you probably know like 20 others.
Yeah. I mean, there's a handful.
Yeah, but that guy actually knew about Creative Commons Zero licensing. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, he had
someone who was like hooked into the industry in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, when I heard that, my ears perked up. I'm like, oh. We're gonna have an informed conversation at the moment, That's cool.
Yeah, even people who use Creative Commons don't know what it is. That's crazy.
Barely know what it is.
Right? I believe Creative Commons Zero has still never been like challenged or like upheld in any U.S. courts. So
that's
probably because there's not a lot of good
I mean, that's how good they are at writing licenses, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to arrest.
And we're not even going to bother
Zero.
taking this to court.
Yeah, well, it still doesn't solve my 200 copyright claims every week.
God.
Oh, it's not 200. Let's say twice a week.
I was probably 200, and about 1 out of 100 people will email you.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is just, afraid and think that they've done something wrong. And it's really hard to get people to it's like, be brave, take a chance. We'll worry about the legalities of it later. Like, I don't want my site blocked or whatever.
I think people
channel
that
that
immediately, yes.
Yeah.
Can we solve that now in this podcast forever? Let's hope that most people who receive these claims watch this and realize that it's fine.
Yes, just challenge it. 100%. Just challenge it.
It's a lie. It's false.
Now, if you're actually cribbing like somebody else's video and like freebooting that, no, now stop it. You need to stop doing whatever you're doing. But if you're using our music legally, that's fine. I'm not saying that copyright strikes don't exist for a reason, because they do.
They have a purpose.
Right.
They do, and they do a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, if we got rid of copyright, we wouldn't have copyright strikes, so that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be bad for more people than it's good for some. I mean, we would have a blast. Our lives would be a million times easier.
That would be easier.
Shouldn't we just have like national, international, and then internet?
Great. You all you have to do is get everyone to agree.
Yeah.
Super easy. So what are you working on, Mr. Alexander?
Games.
Games. Playing or scoring or programming?
Scoring them.
Oh, scoring. Oh, very cool.
What type? Like, what type of game?
There is a lot of they call it like it's a genre that's called like something visual novels.
Oh, okay. Visual novels.
Yeah, basically like story games, story-based games.
Okay.
Somehow my music has gotten really popular in that genre. I have no idea why. I think it's because of a game called Love and Magic. Which is a game made by one of my patrons, and it's been really successful, and I think a lot of people are trying to do that same thing.
Yeah, that was I think that was featured on Steam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have not played it.
I have not played it either.
Like, you watch any movies with your music in it? Not if I can try. Not if I can help it. I've already seen that film 50 times.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it one more.
I mean, I probably wouldn't even know that it was my music until after about 5 minutes. Like, and sometimes I come across stuff and I hear the music and I'm like, I've heard this before. What's this? It's mine. Song number 256. It's been about 3 years since I heard that the last time.
Well, it's funny how it goes back there and you kind of forget about it, and then you like rediscover it down the road. I'm like, oh, that's getting traction now. I'm like, that was a pretty decent tune.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, and it never is, right? It's never your favorite.
No.
Never your favorite. It's always like, I could have done this. I could have done something with those notes. I could, all this, like the mix is a little,
like, basic stuff that are just built into my workflow now. It's just not a thing back then.
Yeah.
But I also come across pieces where it's like, oh, how the fuck did I make this? I'm not this good. Like, am I getting worse? But usually the opposite,
There's a neat story about Franz Liszt, I believe, who was like a pretty famous piano player, and he wrote a bunch of music for piano, and was just like famous for being able to just read down anything. And they put a piece of music in front of me. It's like, oh, it's pretty good. What is it? It's like, yeah, you wrote that. Like, oh, nice.
It's a thing. If you make a lot, then you're not going to remember all of it.
It's not new. Yeah, it's not a new phenomenon.
That's
so
amazing.
Weird though. Like, you've heard it before, but it takes you a few seconds to realize that you actually made it. It's probably the same with visual artists, like those who make 3 paintings every day.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh, that good composition here. I like the color use. That is
right.
Well, you know what you like,
And it's also been weird to me, like composers and musicians who don't listen to their own music. I think that's so weird.
What do you mean don't listen? I mean, I do listen to my own music. I just don't try to.
Yeah, it's not like when you're driving, you put on a playlist with exclusively your own songs.
Almost never.
Do that all the time.
You do that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
And I don't do it because like I want to like analyze the techniques, or I listen to it because I enjoy it. Is that
No, it's not, because I do the same thing, but I do half and half. Half of it's analyzing to see like what I've learned, what I could have done better.
Yeah.
And the other half is because, well, the reason I made it was because I liked it.
right?
The same thing.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to an album that had, it's rare that I have an album that all the tracks resonate with me, right? Some of them are quote unquote filler songs. There are songs I know I had to finish, and invariably it's going to end up being something that somebody likes, and I can't decide what people like. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna publish it and see what happens, right? But every once in a while, there was like this orchestral album I did called Symphony of Swords, has this big dragon on the front of it and stuff. Pretty much every song on that album resonates with me, because every one of them I really enjoyed making, and I loved the way it came out.
Yeah.
But there's other albums that I'm just like, why didn't I like this one so much? You know, I'll listen to it. I'll be listening to it in the car, and I'll skip it. I want to skip it in the car, and then I'll have to force. I'm like, no, don't listen to it. Find out why you don't like it as much. You know, like what is it about it?
I was going to say, speaking of album covers, how has your album cover design changed in the last year, guys?
Oh my god.
Significantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He asks knowingly.
It's yeah, it's about 100% less pixabay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
that's a good
art that I did like back in the 90s and early 2000s, and I look at the new ones, I'm like, oh god. Everything's just getting better.
good. They're so good.
I tell Alex, I feel like I have a behind the scenes sneak peek whenever he's releasing something, because I'll see him in a Discord thread screwing around with Midjourney. I'm like,
Yeah.
Alex gonna have a release today. I'm like, I can't wait.
Imagine what the song is gonna sound like as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, cyberpunk. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's see what's coming up.
I mean, it's so
All right, Alexander, we got to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
proper painting or image.
You made this for one of your album things. I think it didn't make the cut. But what was the prompt? What are you looking for here?
I think it was some sort of like South American street music kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the prompt, but I think it was like some South American street musicians or whatever.
Look, I love the
Maybe
fact
band.
I really have to emphasize this at the moment because it's so significant. I love the fact that Kevin, who is almost completely digital, took the time to physically print out some of these images.
Yeah.
He ordered them and they were delivered to. Yeah,
I mean, just should have been a call when we discovered the Gazorpal horns. That was
the AI is really bad at figuring out how to make brass instruments. Like this guy's blowing into a thing which is melding with this thing. There's a thing back here that doesn't even connect up here. What is this doing? This is another one.
But it looks very festive. It's very festive.
But these are the coolest people on the planet. They're here with their royal-based Gazorpal horns. I don't know. This guy is playing some sort of shampoo bottle, I assume. It's like very hard to tell.
It is incredible. I mean, look at
And apparently in the middle of the street.
yeah,
All right.
sitting there.
Oh, it's great. We can figure out what these things would sound like. It's going to be somewhere between a French horn and a tuba.
Can we drop that image into Pika and then animate it?
Yeah, animate it. Sure.
Let's do that. Oh, that sounds like a fun project.
This may have real music for it soon.
Oh my god!
Probably not.
Can't say.
I don't think anyone can play this instruments
it's like
at all. But
it's so weird though, because the picture is so perfect,
yeah,
but the brass instrument is so bad.
Yeah.
Everything else, colors, scenery, everything is perfect.
Well, it's night and day from where we were at last like July.
right.
Like July in 2022, Mid-Journey, Dolly 2, you know, they were all pumping it like you'd have a hand and it's like here's a hand and it's like, hello, this looks normal, doesn't it? No, not at all.
Like I almost hope that it will never figure out how to do brass instruments because they're just so, I don't know. So entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically printed out all the ones that you couldn't use for some reason. And yeah, people are like, oh, we won't need designers anymore. It's like, well, designers can do a lot better job than I can with these tools. So they're still going to be better. I'm just going to not suck.
Yeah. And it's like my tattoo artist, which is probably one of the best illustrators I know. He's extremely talented, but half of my tattoos now are made by Mid-Journey.
Really?
Yeah.
But they're just making his workflow easier. Like instead of him spending weeks drawing a perfect Odin, I could just prompt Odin and get it in 20 seconds.
Yeah. Be like, hey, dude, I want to do this. Can you do something like this?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know?
And it's going to be...
I live above a tattoo place. I wonder if they use AI to design stuff now.
They
We should ask them.
No.
I mean, as a client, what better way to walk in and be like, listen, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Like, emulate this. I mean, they still have to produce that piece of art, you know? It's still, they still have to functionally get it on your arm and not look like some 5-year-old drew it, you know?
Is there going to be a lot of editing for this? It seems like.
No, I don't think...
No.
Oh, no.
I think, no, we're just free-forming it, man.
Yeah, raw conversation. I mean, this is how interesting a composer's life is. Not really.
It's about that interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some feedback on what kind of people listening and if they're actually like trying to get something out of their own music, or because we have somehow like figured it out, so we are a source of information for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think
Great. I think we should start the podcast right there. We can ditch everything up to this point. We don't need one edit point.
Yeah, but the problem is that...
So what do we know that other people don't? Yeah, I mean, I sort of tried hanging out in the composer forum of Reddit, and just people's ideas of what things are just aren't the reality, but I don't know how to explain it to them. You know, it's like, I just wrote my first opera, and I'm like, whoa, my friend. Have you seen the real? I don't know, something smaller first,
I mean, I still remember all the tips you gave me back in the day, Kevin. So, I mean, I could just pass those on to others that are starting out now.
I would be horrified to hear what I told you.
Okay, there are two things that stuck with me. The first one was that forget monetization, forget everything, give it away. That's how it spreads. Mm-hmm. People love free.
Agreed.
Yes.
That's the first one. And the other one is that you are not to judge what is good and what's not. Two things.
You can't tell. And they both worked out, right?
Yeah. It's
they release things where like, and people are like, this is the best.
I'd have to say I agree with both of those. For me personally, with Kevin. In addition to that, I would say one other. And Kevin literally just said the simplest thing in the world. He's like, dude, just do the thing. Do the thing. Don't get like caught up in the minutia of like whatever. Like just get it out there.
Yeah.
Get them out. A better digital to audio converter for my speaker setup. How are my headphones?
Fuck your tech everything. Just
Fuck your
doesn't
tax,
matter.
especially now.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
if, even in the beginning, before I even started mastering my songs, like people just did that. People just took the MP3 and enhanced it, and then like used that instead. Like most people know what they're doing.
I hope, yeah.
Yeah, most people.
And the more,
Some
people do it, and the longer they do it, the more they know. And there's always going to be beginners in every field, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, some of the things in Logic that you could do for passes, as well as like some of the post-production editing suites, like I think Ozone is one of them. Like they do like mastering, you can put that in there and you can like finish off a tune or whatever. Like it's 85-90% of the sound just completely fixed. Everything's balanced out, and like it's not rocket. Like the days of like sitting in the studio for 7 hours working on one song, no freaking way. Like, does it sound good? Oh wait, that's another thing. That's another Kevinism. Good enough.
Yeah.
Right? Is it good enough?
Does it
do the work?
Yeah.
Right? Is it good enough to do the work that it's looking to do?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, don't overthink it. Like, could the strings be a little louder in this section? Blah blah. Like, I'll go back and listen to a tune from 3 years ago, and rip it apart, and I'm like, no, it did the thing it was supposed to do back then. If I want to do more, I'll just write more.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
And a lot of media is kind of throwaway. There's not a lot of people replaying TikTok videos like Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to do the thing. If it does the thing is done. Great.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yep.
And then it's gone. And then make a new thing.
Then you make a new thing.
I would also probably advise people starting out to go for Logic instead of the other ones, because it seems like Logic has so many like built-in quality of life features that I don't have in Cubase.
Yeah, it's $200. It has, like, you would have to spend $800 to get a reverb unit like they have.
Yeah.
It is just the best thing. It's going to be different. You're going to, you can kind of tell, can you tell something was done in Cubase versus Logic? Not really.
That very much depends on the composer, I guess.
Right.
You can do all the same things in Cubase. It just seems like Logic has made them very much easier.
Yeah. And they're processing, and they always update it.
Yeah.
They just came out with like another 12 gigabytes of loops and samples. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
$200. That's insane.
Yeah. And you can use it on like I have it on my laptop. I have it on this computer here. I've got an iStudio, and it comes out of the box. Like Kevin was saying, there's so many effects that are already built into it. Plus, there's like a dozen and a half VSTs, software synths built in there. One of them being Alchemy, which has like 1,800 patches in it. And then you can twist and turn those patches. Each patch has like 8 different effects units that you could change the sound significantly with each one. You could automate that so it like passes through all that, and like there's just so much potential. You could spend hundreds of hours.
We don't care about tech except for Logic. You should have that.
Right. Well, if it's $200,
it does make your life easier.
Yeah.
And
a quick balance of the song is a piece of cake. Like it's built in. There's a button right there. You're like, okay, boom.
Yeah.
Let's see what it sounds like in the car. Let's see what it sounds like on my phone with the buds. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, that was a great episode, everybody.
Yeah.
About 6 minutes. Tight info.
I'm gonna have to disappoint you, but I think we have.
No, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it though.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, I really want to go for some Korean right now. How long are we recording for?
I don't know, but we were baking on about an hour, so
okay.
I think we're pretty much there, right?
Good episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, I will stop the recording and I will say goodbye, everyone.